We are now in section 3, organizations and people dimension of this practice. From an exam perspective, we are going to understand and apply in particular the roles and competencies of the practice. These are mainly the Chief Information Security Officer and the Information Security Manager. And we will also take a look at the organization structure that is best for this practice. Remember that the practice guides for the various ITIL practices do not describe the practice manager roles such as practice owner, practice lead, or practice coach, but they focus on a few specialist roles that are specific to each practice. That's why we are going to describe only the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer, and the ISM, the Information Security Manager roles only. Now, in your own organization or in other organizations, the structure and naming of each role and the responsibilities may vary. So what we see here in ITIL should not be treated as mandatory. And sometimes one individual can take on multiple roles. And on the other hand, even a single role may be assigned to multiple people. Before we go into those two specific roles, let us take a look at the ITIL competency codes and profiles. ITIL specifies mainly 5 competency codes: L, A, C, M, and T. L is for leader, A is for administrator, C, coordinator or communicator, M, methods and techniques expert, T, technical expert. Every role may be assigned a competency profile code. For example, it could be LCT. That means L for leader, C for communicator, T for technical expert. So an individual may be required to have mainly leadership skills, followed by the C, communicator skill, and then followed by T, technical expert skills. On the other hand, another role might require M first, then A, and then L afterwards, which means they need to be solid in the methods first, then administration afterwards, and eventually leadership. Of course, we can have codes which have not just 3 alphabets, but even 4 or 5 alphabets. But please always remember that when you define the code, the complete code for a role, then the first letter means that would be the main skill needed. And the second letter is the secondary, and the third letter would be tertiary, and so on. So using these 5 codes, you can create your own combination of the codes for specific roles. The first role that we see coming up is the Chief Information Security Officer, or the CISO. This individual is usually a board member who is responsible overall for the practice. And if they're not part of the board, then they will definitely report to the management board of the company. They have several strategic responsibilities. The first one is establishing the overall information security strategy for the company. And they will do this based on 2 things. They need to understand the organization's business strategy, and they also need to understand the information security risks for the organization, depending on the nature of the organization. So for example, a telecom company would have a different environment as compared to a food delivery business. The second thing here is that the CISO will ensure that the organization takes a balanced approach towards 2 things. First of all, providing sufficient protection for information security. At the same time, not creating adverse impacts to the business, such as creating new problems or such as inefficiencies, etc. The third that we see here is that they need to be a strategic communicator to various stakeholders, key stakeholders such as the board members, regulators, law enforcement, press, customers, suppliers, partners. And this communication would be about, at a higher level, about information security. And they will also be developing information security policies and procedures, but they will have to work with the other people in their team, such as information security manager and the other staff. And therefore, we see the last one, they oversee the staff responsible for all other aspects of information security. So these are a lot of other actual tasks to be done, but the CISO would oversee all that with support from the information security manager as well. And this can be tasks such as developing, testing, and improving processes related to security incident management. It could also be selection, testing, deployment of security products such as firewalls, antivirus, and so on. It can also be tasks such as defining standards and guidelines for various things. such as development and others, and for different type of infrastructure, operating systems, etc., apps, etc. And last but not the least, operational activities to be overseen, such as security event monitoring and general routine security tasks. Then there is also the information security manager, who will generally report to the CISO. They have a more operational and tactical role, but they still play a crucial role in safeguarding the organization's information assets. The key thing here is they oversee and manage the security of information systems and data. So as you can see, it's not a strategic role, but more tactical and operational, but with the actual groundwork to be done. And by doing this, they ensure the confidentiality, integrity, availability, and so on. Here, the balance they achieve is between the organization's operational requirements, then promoting a culture of security awareness and establishing robust security practices. And they balance all this with the need for security for the organization. Compare this with the balance achieved by the CISO, which is not the same as this. And the information security manager, they have several activities which are tactical and operational. It will be organization specific, industry specific. And here is a big list here, such as develop and implement security policies under direction from the CISO. They will perform a risk assessment and management, security awareness and training to other employees, responsible for incident response and management, security audits and compliance, tests and exercises, which means that even the auditors will be working under the CISO. Other tasks could be related to security architecture and infrastructure, vendor management, particularly security vendors, incident reporting, communication, not the strategic reporting to key stakeholders, which is done by the CISO. And then, of course, the continual improvement and keeping updated. Now, we have some guidance on the organization structures and teams. And the key thing here is that the CISO's role is not limited to IT. They will be actually sitting outside of IT so that they have a complete view of the end-to-end or the wider view of the entire organization, rather than just a dedicated IT department. Therefore, the CISO will have several direct reports who are not limited only to the IT department. Because they need to support the CISO in developing policies and procedures, performing security audits, and providing information security guidance to other employees in the organization. Therefore, there could be certain information security specialists working under the CISO and an information security manager as well. And of course, many companies do have the dedicated IT security team, which can also achieve the goals of the CISO. However, just leaving everything to the dedicated IT security team might not be a good idea. We also need to make all employees aware about their responsibilities as well. Therefore, there should be some security expertise available in all the IT teams as well, such as the service architects and service designers must be able to architect and design secure IT services. The application developers must be able to write secure code. They must be educated on how to do this. The service desk staff must be able to recognize security incidents when they are being informed about them, and they need to take appropriate action based on the security policy of the organization and also the security incident response plans. They will have to engage those experts. And all staff must be aware of their responsibility to detect common security attacks and know how they should react to these attacks.